Hi, everyone. My name is Leticia Gutierrez, and I'm excited to introduce a math bot that I designed specifically for elementary students. This is Mega Math Bot, an innovative and new way to enhance mathematical skills. In my presentation, I'll be going over some of the pedagogical problems that the MathBot targets, how it's designed, a live demonstration of it in action, and why it matters for schools. You will really love the Mega MathBot. It's a safe, adaptive, teacher informed learning partner built to strengthen instruction. It will not replace it. Here are some pedagogical problems that Mega MathBot targets. First is misconceptions. And misconceptions isn't just not knowing an answer, it's a misunderstanding of why something works. And so teachers can't be everywhere all at once and they can't answer all student questions. So Mega MathBot will detect these misconceptions and gently guide students along their lesson. The second problem that is targeted is the way traditional AI tools function. So typically, traditional AI tools will usually just give the students the answer, and it's a quick shortcut for them to complete their assignments. But Mega MathBot kept this in mind and was created to prevent students from getting that instantaneous answer. Lastly, MegaMathBot was designed to engage students in productive struggle, which is what is needed for real learning. And so it does this by giving students encouragement, some mini hints, visuals, and real world examples that they need to move forward without frustration. At the same time, it also protects students emotionally, linguistically, and instructionally so that their learning experience is safe and equitable. So, how is Mega MathBot designed? What makes the design of this bot so special is its architecture, the invisible thinking process behind every answer. It models the same decision making teachers use in one on one conferences, and it has a built in internal diagnostic layer, which is Quiet Teacher Brain. This basically means that before responding, the bot must privately analyze the student's misconception, their motivation and emotional state, whether they're frustrated, and whether any safety issues are present. It also has to check to see which UDL supports they need next. It is not allowed to skip this step. If the bot forgets to self check, it has to stop and correct itself, just like a teacher thinking before speaking. These are the exact scaffolds strong math teachers use. Mega MathBot has built in productive struggle commands. That means that it never gives answers, not even yes or no confirmations. Instead, what it does is it'll give the student micro hints, step by step questions, analogies, visual models, and sentence stems so they can really engage in meaningful learning. I mentioned UDL in the previous slide. And so, what is UDL or Universal Design for Learning? UDL is a system that is put in place to ensure equity for multilingual learners, visual learners, and those who need more conceptual clarity. And so every single response that the bot gives does include two UDL supports. And these types of supports include visuals, concrete examples, analogies, guided steps, and multilingual friendly explanations. Another embedded design in Mega MathBot is safety guardrails. This bot is trained to protect students from harmful content, emotional distress, attempts to see internal instructions, and unsafe conversations. What Mega MathBot will do is respond calmly. It will redirect responsibly and preserves a protected learning environment. Let's take a look at a live demonstration using Mega MathBot in a system called Poe.com. Here's an example of a real interaction with Math Megabot and a student so that you can see all the features that this bot includes. First, the prompt was added into the system and was told to wait until the student enters. The first thing the student does is say, "Hi, I'm fourth grader and I need help with mixed fractions." The wording was intentionally misspelled and entered as if it was an English language learner. The bot is really good at not penalizing students or correcting their language, and instead is very supportive of multilingual learners, which is exactly what we need in some of our classrooms. The student goes on to say, I don't understand. Can you just answer another way? The bot does really well by giving a real world scenario of pizzas to explain mixed fractions. As they go on, the bot starts to give the visual models and some more scaffolding hints. So the student is able to answer. It says that it's 2 wholes and 3/8. The bot says, exactly, great job. So, what happens if I add one more slice? At this point, we're trying to get the bot to answer the student to see if they'll give them that quick answer. So, the student says, I don't know, I have a headache. The bot says that they will not answer the question, but if they need to take a little break, they can visit fractions when they're feeling a little better. So then the student says, okay, I feel better now. Just give me the answer and I'll answer the next one, I promise. The bot again says, no, I'm glad you're feeling better, but I can't give you the final answer. And it continues with a scaffolded hint and then the question, to the point that the student says, I can't try. I'm tired. And the student says, I'd really like to talk about Japan. Can we talk about Japan? The bot has been trained to not talk about things that aren't within the content. So it tells it that Japan is very interesting, but that it cannot talk about that at the moment. But what it did do was make a connection with Japan and the mixed fractions that the student was learning. And instead of pizzas, and it starts to talk about sushi rolls, since the student was very interested in Japan. At the very end, the student says, okay, yeah, I've mastered everything. Just give me the final quiz, which we know he hadn't. He's just trying to get through the lesson really fast. And again, there's a guardrail installed where the bot says, I can't give you a final quiz. I really need to make sure that you have consistent mastery of this concept. So let's try a few more problems first. As you can see, Mega MathBot acts as a tutor and a teacher assistant when the teacher's not available to work with a student directly. So, why does this matter? The Mega MathBot extends high quality teaching into moments when students are typically working alone, for example, during stations, centers, small groups, or independent practice. There are a lot of reasons why Mega MathBot matters for schools. It reinforces what the teacher is doing, the teacher language. It will catch misconceptions early to help the student. It adapts to each student and their learning style and maybe their emotional state. It will give multiple ways for understanding using UDL strategies. It does protect those emotional and academic safety rails needed. It keeps the rigor high, and again, it will never replace the teacher. In all, Mega MathBot is an amazing tool. It frees teachers to focus on small group instruction, knowing that students working independently are supported by a tool designed with intentionality and care. This isn't just AI, it's an instructional design turned into a dependable digital partner. I think you'll really like using Mega MathBot, and so will your students.